Today I am going to be doing what I hope to be a new feature on the channel, Throwback Thursday. This is the Syma X5C-1. This is the first quadcopter that I ever flew, that I ever bought. So here we are over like 2.5 years later. Haven't flown it in probably a year. So I want to put it in the air and see what we think of it today. So let's go get it in the air.
What we do here is go back.
So here we have the Syma X5C-1. I loved this thing when I first got it. Still think I love it too. We'll see when we get it in the air. Props are a little beat up. We got a little bit of a wind coming from my back here. When I first got it, it came with like a kit that had like blue camel props on it. And I put those on right away and broke them almost immediately too. So, but it looked really cool when they were on there. Now I'm with the standard white. This will be familiar to a lot of you out there. It has the stock camera on it, which I need to plug in. Look at that. Let me just set this down. I must have come unplugged in transport. So it is, I believe, a 720p camera. Hopefully that stays in there. Hopefully we get some video out of this flight. I did have an FPV, the first video ever. Well, not ever, but the first video, if you go all the way back to the beginning of my videos, is with this quad with the FPV camera attached, made specifically for this model. And I took that off. I actually like the stock camera better, but at the time, you know, I wanted to see what I was shooting. But this one doesn't really have any jello wobble. SD card in the back. It's got your battery bay here with, I believe it is a 600 milliamp hour battery, and it plugs in there. The battery bay goes like that. You got your on-off switch back here. Nice LEDs. I used to fly this at night all the time because these LEDs are so bright. So let's put it down, and hopefully I remember how to do stuff on this transmitter. I remember this is the video, I think up is video and down is pictures. We'll test it in the air. I believe that's the flip button, and these are your rates. Then you got your standard trim buttons. So, enough talking. Throwback Thursday. Let's get this guy in the air. Uh-oh. There we go. No. We're having problems with the transmitter. This is new. This button, I think, is not. This might be dangerous to fly. I'm gonna put it right to this high rate. And actually, before I take off, let's sort out this video situation. So if I go up like this, or am I going down? Okay, so down is the video, down on that trim button, and up is gonna take still photos. I don't do too much with still photos with these quads. So let's see what we do. We're up in the air. Also worth noting that I am not 100% sure how good this battery is. It had been sitting around for quite a while without being charged, so we might not get our normal flight time out of this, but we'll see. A little bit of a wind out today too, and when I was first learning how to fly, I came to this park a bunch of times to practice. So we're up pretty high there. Let's come in. And we should be getting a good shot here. Let's come back towards us. The camera on this quad is slightly downward angle. I remember that being one of the cons of it, and it is not really adjustable unless you do some sort of mod. But this thing is a nice flyer. This was a really good one to start with. Not necessarily the best flyer in the wind, so we got it's a little bit breezy today. So I'm just kind of letting it float around there. Should be getting a decent video. Let's turn it back towards us and we'll fly into the wind. One of the secrets of getting good video with these toy grade quads is to kind of let the wind push it if you want to get smooth video. So I'm going to turn around here and then just kind of let it do its thing. But it is a little breezy out today. Breeze coming at my back now. Let's bring it in close. Get a nice, let's not kill the throttle all the way. I believe on this model it won't flip with the camera attached, if I remember correctly, which I always thought was a weird feature. Let's see if it does it. Oh no, it does. I believe one of these, maybe it's suggested not to flip when you got the camera attached? I don't remember. I remember taking the camera off this when I wanted to flip, but maybe I'm thinking of a different model. Maybe it was suggested that you take the camera off. So we're getting some wind, getting pushed around a little bit by the wind. I remember when I first started flying this thing, I had no idea there was like a high and a low rate. So I would always go out and fly it on the low rate, and if there was any sort of wind, it would just get taken in the wind. And I didn't really understand, a little sensitive on the throttle here. Let's come back. Going into the wind. It's fighting the wind okay here. On the high rate, it does okay with the wind. Let's see if we can get a shot of the pavilion. That is the other thing with this camera. You can't really see what you're shooting as you're shooting it. I remember being scared to fly anywhere near this pavilion when I first started learning how to fly, because I didn't want it to get stuck up there. Let's come over this way, come back, shoot the pavilion. So a little sensitive on the throttle on this particular model. Let's go into the pavilion. Oh yeah, we're in there. Whew, that was pure luck, I think. We got blown around a little bit by the wind in there, but we went in there. It's a little sensitive. This, I don't feel like I'm totally killing the throttle, and the throttle keeps cutting out. But another thing I liked about the X5C was you could bind this transmitter to almost all the other Syma quads at the time. So I had the X11, and the X11 is one of my all-time favorites. I would also put this one in with my all-time favorites because it is just a nice flyer. And it is the one I learned on. It's a great one to learn on. Still to this day, I would say this is a really good quad if you want to get into this. It's very cheap these days, and it performs very well. And I want to say I definitely used to get over 7-minute flights when I had the fresh batteries. I'm not sure what we're gonna get here today, but we seem to be getting a decent flight time. This one did have a short LVC warning. I do remember that. And I'd say like today's a day, like if I was a beginner or if you're a beginner, I wouldn't necessarily fly this one today if you're just starting out. But I've had quite a bit of experience with this particular quad and quads in general, so the wind isn't really phasing me at the moment. But if it did get like any windier, I'd probably suggest landing it. Flip. Woo! So yeah, the wind is definitely pushing it back towards the cornfields there. And I remember range being somewhat of an issue reading this online. I've never flown these toy grade quads too far away from me, but I saw online when I was first starting out, a lot of guys were doing like a range modification with their transmitter here. But I never went ahead and did that because for what I was doing with this quad, my intention when I bought this quad was I'm gonna buy this thing, I'm gonna learn how to fly it, and then I'm gonna pick up like a DJI Phantom or something like that, you know, like a legit camera quad. So the only reason I picked this one up was to learn how to fly basically. And this quad basically, could I say basically anymore? This quad started my quadiction, if you will, and it really got me interested in flying quadcopters and drones. And it is just a nice flyer. I'm still enjoying this one, flying it 2.5 years after buying it. And I definitely, you know, if you're interested in picking this one up, go for it. Still a nice flyer, still a great one to learn on. This has always given me like I don't want to say love of Syma, but makes me think of Syma fondly because this is the first one I owned. And just have so many good memories of like learning how to fly with this quad. And it's always been reliable for me. And the battery is interchangeable. They're cheap. When I first got it, I only had the one battery and I quickly moved on. I bought like a pack of like 5 or 6. I can't remember exactly how many. and that improved my flying immensely, because obviously the more you fly, the better you're gonna get at it. And I used to come here and fly it quite a bit. Fly it in my backyard all the time. I flew it every chance I got when I first got this. I was amazed at how much I was addicted to it right off the bat. First place I ever tried to put it up was right in my kitchen. And I'd always recommend that if you're just starting out, put it up inside first, just so you get a little bit of familiarity with it before you go and fly it outside. Because the tendency with quads when you first get them, oh, how high can it go? And you put it up high and then you end up losing it. And obviously you do not want to lose your quad that you just purchased before you get rolling. So let's try to do like a high-speed pass. Catching a lot of wind, going into the wind there, dick down. And we're getting a nice flight time out of it. Let's see what we can do with the wind. That's with the wind. It's not going to the cornfields. And one of the big cons with this quad was a very short LVC warning. So you can see the LEDs, or at least I can see them here in person very easily, even in this bright sunlight. So it only gives you something like a 15-second LVC from what I remember. So we're gonna look for that. But doesn't have altitude hold, doesn't have return to home, doesn't have headless mode. This was before all that became a thing. But what it does have is really nice flight characteristics and a very gentle flyer. So I still recommend this. Is a great one to learn on. It came in a really nice case that I used to transport it around in. And it does come with prop guards, which I think I had on for maybe like a month, like the first month. And then I took them off because I was really scared of getting stuck in a tree or something like that with them. But yeah, this is definitely kind of a trip flying this again. I should fly this one more often. It is still, to this day, a nice flyer, nice option for you if you're in the market for a good beginner quad. But it is very relaxing. It's not a FPV chill sesh out here today, but it's a LOS chill sesh. Is that a thing? Shout out to Drone On for using that hashtag. Use the hashtag FPV chill sesh. Let's make that a thing. So we got some wind coming at me as I've turned around here. It's coming from the direction it has been the entire time. I don't know if you can see that tree up there blowing around. So we got some wind up there. A little sensitive on the throttle. Don't remember it. You can kill the motors. Very easy to kill the motors. I don't remember that being an issue. It might just be because I'm so used to flying like altitude hold style quads. I definitely don't have a feel for this transmitter anymore, I don't feel like. So what do you guys think of the Throwback Thursday feature? Should this be a thing? I've been toying with the idea of doing this for a long time. And I figure today is actually Thursday. I'm gonna try to get this video posted today. I posted the B-Whoop video this morning. So hopefully I get time to put this one together. It's not gonna be super difficult to put together, I don't think, because it's not too involved. This isn't like a full review of this quad. So we still got battery to flip. So I guess this battery is pretty well done, well good. What am I talking about? The battery is still good, is what I was trying to say. I like the look of this one too. It kind of has the Phantom look. That was one of the reasons I went with it. I was like, well, it kind of looks like a Phantom, so I'll be used to looking at it when I get the Phantom. Then it took me over a year to actually go out and buy a Phantom because I kept spending my money on these toy grade quads and I really had fun with it. So I think we're gonna get LVC pretty soon here, I think. Oh yeah, we got it. So that's your flight time. Whatever that flight time is. Not sure if that's like stock, what you would get, but it seemed like pretty close. seemed like pretty, so we should probably stop our video here. There we go. I don't know if you can see that. There is a red light in there when it's recording and it's green now. So I definitely still like the X5C here. If you're in the market for a beginner quad or you just want to check this one out, I still recommend it. It's very durable. I did kill one motor. I can't remember exactly which one it is, but had a crash into some sort of sign. I was trying to be daring and fly in between the legs of the sign, and I was not good enough to do it at that point, and crashed into the motor, like directly into the motor or something like that. And I think I lost, it must be this one, because this one has a different gear on it than the rest of them. And I lost the gear. This little gear popped out down here when I did it. I couldn't find it. I spent like an hour looking for it in the grass where I was and could not find it. So bought a whole new motor. I think I bought like a pack of them because I figured I'm gonna probably do this again, and I never ended up having to do it again actually. So that was my first experience soldering also. Soldering this motor in here. That was the problem with this. This one has like a million little screws on it to take it apart. And I remember taking it apart and I was like, this is awful. There's a screw here, two here, two here, two here, two here, one here. So, and I think there's some under these landing legs, and these do just pop off. You could take the camera off and take the landing legs off and fly it that way. I don't know if you guys can see this too. This is battle tested. So other than the one motor that's gone and this landing leg, this guy is all original parts. Well, I guess maybe the props aren't original because I had the blue camel ones on at one point, and then I had red ones on, and now I got these white ones. At one point I remember breaking a prop, but it broke off like down in here. So it looked like it was intact, but the motor was spinning up, but it looked like it wasn't spinning up because the prop wasn't spinning because it wasn't attached anymore to the base of the prop. So it took me a while to figure out what was wrong with that, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to get another motor. But then I realized it was just the prop. So there you go. I actually bought tri-blade props for this and never put them on, never flew it with the tri-blades. So you guys interested in seeing a video with the tri-blade props? Put a poll up in the screen, let me know. So there we go, first episode ever of Throwback Thursday Quad Edition. Let me know how you guys liked it in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.